what is called artificial intelligence. To me, that's a misleading term, but that broad class of things seems to be going quite well. With a lot of bumps in the road, driverless cars will take longer and so on. But if you compare it to what people expected 30 years ago, we're right now ahead of schedule.
Is that optimistic? Is that scary at all? If AGI advances so quickly that it replaces humans in some way eventually? How do you think about that?
I think new advances are scary. I'm not sure AGI is the scariest. The scariest to me is simply historically, so many new technologies end up used as weapons. They become tanks, they become machine guns, right? Atomic bombs. So the new technologies we're developing now might be used as weapons by bad actors.
But there's bioterror, but what else is scary on that front?
I think it's all scary, even cheap energy, right? If you can imagine a terrorist sort of carrying a backpack that is storing a lot of energy very cheaply, that lone terrorist could do more harm. Now, to me, that's an argument. We need to be more open to immigration, to take in top talent, to win this race, stay ahead of China. We're never going to beat China at top-down control. That's how they're doing quantum computing, AI, other areas. But I think we can beat them with more innovative business and being a way better country for attracting talent.
Yep, we talk a lot about this in the defense world. Our defense world is still using the 1961 frameworks, which are very, very top down, which is from a time when we admired the Soviet Union and thought Soviet Union was a better way to run things with our elites. And we need to open it up and make it open infrastructure if we're going to win against China.
And not have these 12-year procurement cycles with steps of bureaucracy along the way.
And what do you think we need to do as a society to enable more progress right now? Because that's something you think can talk about a lot. Like what are the key things we should be doing to make sure we keep progressing?
We just need to believe in progress more than we have been doing. So if you think about the 1960s, it was a fairly ambitious time. We put a man on the moon basically in 7 years. Some people were skeptical, but enough people were confident we could do this. We expected rates of economic growth of 3% or higher. A new movie, if it came out, would be an event. It wouldn't be a sequel, right? It would be a new creative product. Today, most top movies are sequels. There are large institutions, often in government, but not only in government, private foundations, that have just become so hard to change, so stultified, so rigidified. And a lot we need to start over, build new institutions, and believe more in progress, that true improvement is possible. Ambition can be highly desirable. Creativity, innovation, startup, entrepreneurship need to be far more culturally central. So they are already in your world, to be clear. And Austin is great for this.
So you don't believe that we can go in and fix old government institutions? For the most part, we should be creating new ones because the current ones are just stultified and broken and it's too hard to fix them?
For the most part, that's true. Now, there may be some things you need to fix. So the IRS is broken. I don't know what it would mean to create a second IRS. You don't want to pay taxes to both. So we need to fix a bit the IRS we have. But if you're, say, reforming science funding, I'm not sure you'll fix the NIH. You may need a new branch to do it.
What if you could have competitive ones? What if you had 3 IRSs that each did different people, and then you see how efficient they could be relative to the others, and how easy they are to work with? Could you have competition in government in these areas?
I think we're seeing more and more competition across governments, across countries, and crypto and Web 3.0 will intensify this greatly, and it will be a good thing.
That's across countries. What about within though? I mean, is that something that? So it seems like competition in our society is what enables certain things to be functional because they have some competitive force. Couldn't we put that in place on all these things that are stultifying?
A lot of these institutions are too broken, and I don't think they'll allow it. I would make some, modest, moderate changes to the IRS. People who owe taxes should actually pay what they owe, but they shouldn't persecute people. There should be actual rule of law, taxpayer bill of rights.
Yep.
And hope that patches up some of the worst problems. But they're not ever going to be that good, in my opinion.
So in general, the way we're going to have progress is you think more between countries is going to be a better force than within the countries for the institutions that are broken.
And increasingly across states and cities. So we saw this during the pandemic. States competed for people working from home, right? Competed in terms of COVID policy, competed in terms of openness, obviously tax rates, amenities. And now that it's easier to move, this has all become more intense. And I think it will make an enormous positive difference for productivity and quality of governance, even within this country. And it's helped Austin. Austin obviously has been the big winner from all of this. And the big loser is San Francisco.
Yeah, that's our theory of change. And my policy group is making the states compete and
right.
Cities as well.
And cities, Miami Beach and Miami are on the verge of being big winners. Maybe that's not as in the bag as Austin, but that's been more citywide than statewide.